Here we are once more and again. Man, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you have joined me on this evening. It's a beautiful autumn evening, October the 3rd. Gorgeous. It's story time. So, I'm going to tell you a story. Every word of it is true. I sing in the choir at my church, and sometimes I lead worship. And I didn't wind up doing that originally because I wanted to. I sat behind a wonderful lady named Jerry Hudson Morgan, who has passed away, and her very good friend, Dr. Elizabeth Vaughn. And I would sing during the praise and worship service behind them, which was something that I felt like I was perfectly content to do, was sit behind them and sing during praise and worship. Didn't want to be up on that platform, primarily because I was really, really terrified of becoming really, really prideful, because I am a singer, I am an actor, I am someone who's performed for the past 32 years. I mean, even longer than that, actually, because what I did before that was I put on shows for my family, sometimes in front of the television, sometimes during football games, much to the chagrin of my family. We kind of worked it out where I could do the performance during the commercial breaks, ultimately. So that worked out. I mean, it worked out okay, ultimately. But I mean, I've lived to be on stage in one way or another, from very, very young age. I mean, even before I decided that the performing arts were something that I wanted to pursue as a career, I just loved to do it. However, when I came back to the Lord, I felt a lot of guilt and shame about the intentions that I had regarding performing. Because if you've heard anything that I've said about myself before, my post entitled John 3:16 and 17, where I give my testimony of my rededication, my born-again experience, that I was a major performer. So, not major performer like a super famous person, like, who, Luciano Pavarotti or Whitney Houston or something like that. Major performer isn't like I majorly did it, not like people considered me major. I am, after all, holding a handheld cell phone camera, which would be really awesome if Pavarotti or Whitney Houston did that, although neither one of them can. May they rest in peace. Anyway, I didn't want to be on stage at church. But they kept on pressuring me, or encouraging me, really, which is what it really was, although I thought of it as hounding primarily because I knew that I probably needed to do it and just get over my fear and submit all of that stuff to the Lord, just lay it on the altar and set fire to it and be done with it. But I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to hide in the shadows. I didn't want to be on stage at church. Finally, after realizing that they were not going to stop unless I said something rude to them, which I was not willing to do because I knew that that would be wrong, I joined the choir and I started singing. And then I was put on the front line. Front line is a group of singers that are in front of the choir with microphones that lead worship with the worship leaders in the band. That happened pretty quickly, and I thought, my gosh, this is happening so fast. It's so weird, you know. God did really, really awesome things, though, during praise and worship in my life, but I still was not too keen on the idea of leading worship. I mean, I had a lot of guilt, too, about the way that I lived my life, and I think I was just really, really holding on to that, too, so I felt like I was kind of trying to deal with that on stage or bring that on stage, or hadn't really forgiven myself, hadn't really walked in the forgiveness that God has given me. Boy, this is not going exactly where I thought it was going to go in the way that I thought it was going to go. I mean, I planned out this entire post and I'm saying all kinds of things that I hadn't planned on saying, but here we are. So please stick with me because I think that this is going to work out really good for everybody involved. I was given some solos to sing and I took them on. I decided to do them. I felt like, you know, being asked to do that, being given those opportunities was something that I should walk into and step into. However, I wasn't grateful. I wasn't grateful for those songs. People would come up to me afterwards and like really, really encourage me and say the nicest things about me and the nicest things about the singing, and I wasn't grateful. I'd graciously say thank you, and I'd graciously say, well, praise the Lord, and all of this, but I was not grateful for what God had allowed. And it's very frustrated. It was weird. You know, here I'd lived to perform, and in the place most worthy of it, the Lord's house. And to the one who deserves all the praise and all the glory, I was resistant. I was resentful. And the thing that I ultimately feared, which kept me from joining the choir, my pride, boy, oh boy, I brought that with me every single time I was in a rehearsal, every single time I was in a worship service. I really had to deal with it. I'm not saying that it stayed with me throughout the duration, but I really, really was having to deal with it. I felt so torn and often thought about dropping out, often thought about leaving, and I'm pretty sure that I would have if what happened had not happened. One Sunday morning, I was waking up, getting ready for church service. I'd been given a solo. I'd sung this song. I felt like I'd sung it enough times. People were really, really blessed by it. But man, it felt like a drudgery to me. Once again, not being grateful. Not being appreciative of what the Lord had placed in my life to do. And I remember I was getting ready to get up and sing. Or rather, I was still at home. And I said, Lord, I felt the pride, and it scared me. I said, Lord, if this is all about me, if this is all about my voice, if this is all about me being some kind of awesome performer, I would rather lose my voice. I'd rather never sing again than seek to glorify myself. I prayed that. And I forgot about praying that. And I got up on the platform during worship that day and I sang my solo, and in the middle of that solo, my voice broke. I don't mean it cracked. It broke like a car breaks down. It broke like you drop something and it breaks. And it's irreparable. By the evening, I could barely speak. The next day, I canceled an appointment because I was on vocal rest. I went to work. I tried to speak as little as possible. I'm also a singing waiter. So people were asking me to sing. I said, I can't sing. I'm on vocal rest. I can't sing. And I couldn't sing for a really long time. No matter what I did, I couldn't sing. I asked people to pray for me. They did. And I felt improvement. And if you prayed for me, thank you so much. It really helped. The Lord heard your prayers. And He worked in me. But this is something that only my parents know until now. That I had prayed that prayer. And the Lord doesn't strike us with illness, but He had been protecting my voice. For weeks, it was already under great strain, under great duress, and when it became about me, and I said, if it's about me, I'd rather lose my voice. He said, okay. Because the minute that it broke on that platform, I felt Him say, I'm about to get you out of the way. So I did everything I possibly could. Vocal rest, natural remedies, YouTube some videos on recovering my voice. Nothing worked. Nothing worked. I made a little bit of recovery, but so much strain. We're talking like 2 months of laryngitis. Me still getting up and singing. Still singing at work, still singing at church, but just barely eking by. When I sing with great freedom and joy, and it wasn't like that at all. It was awful. I remember being in the choir one Sunday morning and helping some of the other tenors with the part, and just being grateful that I could sing at all. I mean, my voice was not recovered, but I was just so very grateful that I could sing at all. And the Lord said to me, "You've been giving grudgingly." And I thought, my God, He's not punishing me. He wasn't punishing me. None of this was punishment. He wanted to bring me closer to Him. He didn't strike me with a lost voice. Like I said, my voice was under strain, and I feel like He had been protecting me, but I needed this. This needed to happen. It's not going to happen again. Ever. Let me be clear. He didn't strike me with illness. I don't believe in that. But I do believe that He lifted His protection from my voice to let me know that it was all about Him. So I'm still going through it. I'm still struggling. I'm still trying to get my voice to recover. Still trying to make it better. And every time that I sing, every time that I warm up, every time that I prepare to sing, every time I sing at work or sing at church, it's like I'm like wading through some kind of muddy thing, just not able to freely, openly sing the way that I'm used to being able to. And I prayed and prayed. People prayed for me. Like I said before, thank you. I'm so grateful. But it was my character that was being dealt with. It was my attitude that was being dealt with. My attitude was so bad. It was really, really bad. I woke up 2 months after. I won't say it's to the day. Wouldn't that be fancy? Wouldn't that be cool? But it was about 2 months after and I mean, really seriously, like struggling with laryngitis, and singers can sing through laryngitis, and there's a difference between singing through laryngitis and singing. And I knew that was the day that I was going to be healed. So I had a solo that morning, and we rehearsed it before the service began, and it was rough. It was rough. It was tough. It was not very good. But I still knew, I believed, I understood that was the day that I was going to be better. And the song service started. First song, Still Strain. Halfway through the second song, my voice came back. It didn't come back in part. It came back like it had never been gone. Ever. Like it had never I've never had any problems with it at all. And the way that it happened was not something that I could have conceived. It was not the way a voice slowly recovers. It was like immediate. It was immediate. There was no strain. My voice was open. It was alive. It was full. And I felt like the Lord had said, I gave you this voice. This is my voice. Which is something that I had said during the whole time that I was dealing with the sickness. I had told some people, it's not my voice, it's God's, and I was saying that like in a religious way, okay? Just kind of trying to say the right things, fighting the good fight of faith, but not really understanding what I was saying. Because when that happened, it was not something that I could have brought about myself. It was not something that I had imagined being possible in the way that it was, even though I had prayed to God that my voice would be restored. Like I thought it was going to be in a normal way, not in a completely supernatural way where 1 minute, like, you can't sing and the next minute you can. The Lord's a healer. God healed me. But he had to get me out of the way first. He had to show me that it wasn't about me. That I'm not the one who's bringing this about. I may work on my voice. I may work hard. I may have some expertise. I may know some things, but I could never be qualified for what God's called me to do. Never. Not in my own strength, not in myself, ever. It's impossible. And I think that the reason why I'm doing this is because I've started this YouTube channel, and this is not the last time that I've dealt with pride or dealt with struggles or felt like I was the one who was going to bring things about or make things happen. See, the thing is, when this channel blows up and there are 1 million subscribers and 1 million views and people are getting set free from all kinds of like perversion and nonsense and madness and stuff like that, I need to know that it's not about me. And those things are going to happen. I need to know that it's not about me. It's not about me. I'm not the one making it happen. And so it was important for me to see that, to understand that before I could move forward. And I'm doing this post, every perfect gift comes from above. It comes from the Father of lights, in whom there is no variableness or shadow of turning. In him we live and move and have our being. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. But I rejoice more in the fact that my name is written in the Lamb's book of life, and that my voice has been restored. Because it's all about the Lord. It's all about Jesus Christ. It's not about my voice. It's not about my talent, which comes from Him and is to be used by Him for His glory. But it's about Him. It's about being one with Him. It's about me being one with Him. It's about you being one with Him. If we know Him and we're gathered together, He's here in our midst. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. He healed me. He healed my voice, and He healed my voice not just of laryngitis, but He healed it of pride. Now I have to battle that. Because I come from a world of performance. I come from a world of pride in self. I come from a world of ascending to the highest and giving all the glory to yourself for what you've been able to accomplish on your own. Nonsense. I couldn't even breathe without the Lord. Everything that I do, whether it's in obedience to Him or in disobedience to Him, He is allowing out of grace and mercy. So it only makes sense to submit to Him. It only makes sense to serve Him, to love Him, to adore Him. To lay down my life for the brethren, because He laid down His life for me. He didn't strike me with sickness, but He used the laryngitis to get my attention. And He got it. And sometimes I still need to get it back on Him. It's not about me. Have thine own way, Lord. Have thine own way. You are the potter. I am the clay. Mold me and make me after thy will, while I am waiting, yielded and still. Have thine own way, Lord. Have thine own way. You are the potter, I am the clay. Mold me and make me after thy will, while I'm waiting, yielded and still. Have thine own way, Lord, have thine own way. You are the potter, I am the clay. Mold me and make me after thy will, while I am waiting, yielded and still. Have thine own way, Lord, have thine own way.